Hello YouTube, this is Darkon633 and today I'm bringing a review of the Transformers Generations Deluxe Class Combiner Wars Skydive. Now, Skydive is an okay figure. He's got a lot of blockiness to him, and articulation is kind of awkward at times just by the way it's overall designed. I do really enjoy the figure still, but I don't know, there's just a little problem with me personally with this figure at times because of how especially the legs are made. It gets kind of awkward in the joint. You can already see here where it's got this huge gap there, and the way that the legs kind of present themselves just standing just at times looks kind of strange to me, but I still think it looks nice overall. Another problem is that the arms are normally supposed to be splayed out like this, but personally I think it just gives them way too broad of a shoulder, and it looks kind of awkward to me as well. So sometimes I just kind of keep in position down, even though technically the other way is the correct way. Just for the sake of the rest of the review, I'm actually just going to keep them out anyway. So it looks like something like that. So I don't know, it's just the shoulder part just really gets to me every time I see this figure. Anyways, we'll take a quick look at the box, and I must admit, out of all the boxes we got for Generations in a while, they really jam-packed the design all together. It's got a nice design of Skydive up here as well. It's got a very colorful box all around. It says Transformers on the side. Shows that it comes with a trading card. And it says part 2 of 5 of Superion. Combiner Wars and a picture of Superion. On the back it shows 11 steps of transformation and the components that are out now, which is still kind of weird that we see Dragster first before the final aerial bot. But anyways, we'll take a quick look at the card itself. This is made of a very nice harder cardboard material. I was actually kind of surprised since a lot of trading cards, or just the cards that come with it, are made of this really flimsy card material, but I'm actually surprised that for this card, it's made of a thick cardboard, so it's a pretty good quality card overall. It's got a nice design of Skydive on the front. It is kind of strange to see the Autobot logo kind of cut off on the side. I'm not sure that's for all cards, but just seeing here, to me, I think there might have been just printing error. But anyways, we'll take that aside. Skydive includes 2 accessories. One, just the standard 2-barrel gun. And obviously the combiner limb, which can double as a hand or the feet. Which I think is a very impressive and nice idea of Hasbro and Takara to design it that way. Since instead of going ahead and just making new big components and everything, they decided to make everyone have this component except for obviously Silverbolt, and just double it otherwise without the need of molding another piece separate and just keeping it in one mode. Now, I think this can double as some kind of cannon mode, but I've yet to actually get this to hold in his hand properly. Let me see if I get it this time. It is a bit too... The peg, I think, is a bit too big, but let me see. Oh, okay. So for once it did actually attach. Now, yeah, it's some kind of extra cannon thing, so I guess it's kind of cool that it can dual wield cannons like that. So it does give him a little bit more of a weaponry. As you can see here, it's got these missile pods in the end there. I guess I could just put that like that. Articulation wise though, he actually has a waist joint which can go 360, and that's really nice. His knee can bend, as mentioned earlier. And his feet cannot pivot, so it doesn't have any feet movement. His arms are on ball joints, so it allows full movement. His arms can swivel. His wrists can bend at 90 degrees. And he has no wrist swivels, unfortunately. His head is on a ball joint, though, so it allows full movement there as well. And obviously, as shown earlier, he does have this double kind of joint where it kind of bends up and down due to transformation. So, in terms of articulation, he's actually pretty good. To transform it is pretty simple as well. What you're going to do is just remove the weapons and put it off to the side. You're going to turn the headpiece around. Actually, no, you don't. You're going to keep it like this, pretty much. So, then you bend this backpack piece like that, since it's bent on a 90-degree angle here due to transformation. You close it, it snaps into place, and then you just close this off, so now it looks like that. To transferring the legs, what you're going to do is open them up like this. And these pieces are going to bend inward. So it looks like that. And then you just close it off. You do the same for the other side. And then these pieces will peg together. So it looks like that. Close down the fin pieces here. And then what you're going to do with the arms is something kind of interesting. You're actually going to push this forward like that on both sides. It's going to bend down and turn. So that's kind of a cool transformation joint there. And then you're going to collapse the arms down. And they're just going to peg into these little pegs that are on the side there. And there you have Skydive in its vehicle mode. Looking at Skydive in its vehicle mode, it's pretty G1 looking, even for a Generations figure and so on. Out of all the Generations figures I've seen in a while, where once they go ahead and change the design overall, make it a little bit more modern, I gotta admit, they kind of kept this close to the G1 design as much as they could. I mean, obviously this is also based on this IDW design, since Combiner Wars is the comic line the toys are being based on. But overall, I still think it looks extremely G1 looking, except for, obviously, the missing flame decals and other decals that the G1 designs had. But overall, I still really like the Jet mode of this figure. Unfortunately for Jet, he suffers from one major problem, and that is he has absolutely no landing gear pieces, which is kind of odd for a plane transformer not to even have a single piece, and I'm sorry I slammed that down so loud. What you can do also is plug this on the top if you wished, so it gives him an armor mode, like that. And that's pretty cool, so it's an armored kind of vehicle. It would have been cool in some way, I guess, to kind of plug this down here, but unfortunately for him, he doesn't have anywhere place to plug it, so we're just going to look that back. And I guess for this, you could actually attach it somewhere like here. So you give him like a missile pack there. And the same thing here, you can plug this in to the side here. So if you don't want it up there, you do it right here, so it looks like that. So it's not too bad actually, even though obviously this piece is a bit big, so it looks kind of odd. But we're just going to take these pieces off. And yeah, that's pretty much it for Skydive in vehicle mode. Now I'll be back to go over his final mode of transformation. Now for the final mode of transformation, since he is a part of the Combiner Wars line and being a Combiner limb, what you're going to do is push up the wings and then push up the fins. So it looks like that. Now, you're going to actually kind of untransform it a bit, where these pieces are going to look like as if you're going to turn them into robo mode, but you're not going to fully transfer into robo mode. You're going to kind of do it halfway. So let's just turn this piece around and then close it off on both sides. So you take this piece and then you close it off like that. It just plugs down. Make sure that these pieces continue to stay together when you transform it. And then these pieces just kind of sit there. I'm not sure exactly where these pieces go, but I'm just going to let them sit there for now. What you're going to do next is open up the component here, and you're going to turn this piece around so it looks like that. And then you're just going to take the wing piece and plug it in like as if you're going back to roll mode again. So there you pretty much have the combiner limb itself almost done. The final thing what you're going to do is, since this is the arm mode, you're going to take this piece, make sure that his thumb is showing this way, so it looks like that. The cool part is you can actually just reverse it, since all the components are going to use it, except obviously mentioned earlier Silver Bowl. So that's pretty cool that it's a unified design. It can go either way. And then you just plug it on to his hand, like this. So now you have pretty much limb of Superion here. So it's a pretty cool arm design. And since it is a Scramble City kind of design, the cool part is that obviously you can turn this around, so now you got it on the other arm if you wanted to switch it around. And then he's also can actually serve as a leg. Now to transfer it into leg mode, but before that, we're going to look at the articulation points in this mode, which I forgot to mention earlier. His arm can turn around, so we're just going to plug hand back on, so it looks like that. So it looks like this. So it's got a wide range of movement for an arm. So that's pretty cool that it's got so much movement here. So while the articulation may not be the best for the individual component, it definitely gets a lot stronger for the arm component for Superion. So that's a pretty nice design here. Now to transfer into the leg mode, which I'll get back to now, you're just going to put it back into vehicle mode again. However, you're going to keep the nose cone piece up like before. You just close this off. And then, like this. Then you just plug this down. I'm going to plug these back here. And you're actually going to just keep the piece outward there. So it looks like that. It'd be good if you actually turn the head around so that the head is not exposed. So let's just turn the head this way. And then just plug it back on. So now it looks like that. As you can see, the head is no longer exposed in this mode. And you're going to take this piece and lay it flat. So now you actually make it a leg joint. Now, technically, I guess it would go this way, but in reality, it really goes this way. So it shows the nose cone forward like this. But personally, I think when it comes to the combiner limb, I kind of don't like seeing all these pieces being exposed. So when I get Superion and the rest of the components, it'll look like that in combined mode. So it looks a little bit more like a leg this way than here, where it just looks like a bunch of different components there. So overall, I still think Skydive is neat. Now, while I think Skydive may not be personally the best out of the components, and unfortunately being my only one, I can't really compare with the others just yet, I still think Skydive is really nice for what he has. I really like the colors that he's mostly made out of. It's this gray, red, and black, but I really like that it actually sticks out a lot, especially in the vehicle mode and so on. And I really can't wait to see what the rest of the Combiner Wars are going to have for the rest of the limbs. I definitely think Hasbro and Takara did a very impressive job designing these toys. And while they're obviously not going to be, in a sense, super mega accurate in terms of design, since it is mostly based on the IDW and not so much G1, and also the fact that it may not have as much impressive features like some of the other custom ones I've seen, it's still nice to have Takara finally making the official combiners for once, after all these years. And I really think, even for kids, I think kids are going to really like the combiners altogether. Anyways, please comment and subscribe, check out Hirotaku and the associated podcast on Raiju Neon, WRW, Hirotaku Hero News, and I'll see you on YouTube. Bye.